So if something's not working in your business, there's only one or two things going wrong. You either need a knowledge or skill, or you're not doing enough activity. But it's not 20 things that are wrong. You're not going on enough appointments, or lead generating enough to get enough appointments, or there's just a skill that needs to be fixed. That's it. It's one of those two things. Knowledge and skills. So what they're saying is, those that have gone through this journey understand that it's only one of those two things. They just need more knowledge or skills, or they need to do more of it. Persistence and resilience. This is that concept of sustainability in this business. Being in this business for longer than 8 years, if you want to be. Making the choice to get out of the business because you're ready to get out, not because you have to. So persistence, we could say, is staying focused, right? Resilience is not giving up. Being willing to fail and get up and do it again. And you'll be better the second time than the first time. And then thinking profit. I told you this was going to come up a lot. The one way to be successful is profit. The one way to build cash in your bank is profit, not GCI. And the one way to grow your business is profit. And here's the deal, guys. Recognition is great. Plaques, awards on the walls, it's great. If you're not taking any money home, does it matter? It doesn't. So I'm honored to get to spend time with Gary Keller every month as the area director here. And he said to us the month before Mega Camp, he said, hey guys, I want you to know I'm not putting anyone on the stage this year at Mega Camp who doesn't actually make money. And I thought that was a strong stand to take. So there were people I expected to see on stage this year that weren't. And I was like, ooh, I guess I know what that means, right? Because if you can have a GCI of $3.4 million but not have any money in the bank, are you getting anywhere? Right? So they think profit. Business owners think profit. Forget GCI, it doesn't matter. We got to be accountable to our dollars so that we're actually growing our wealth. So let's keep going. Do you guys have something in your, I think we're going to skip this one. What page are you guys on yours? Or, there are no pages, are there?
What pages?
What slide is this?
28.
28?
The workshop that you have?
Yeah. Okay. All right. So we're just going to go right past that and not do that individual one. So we're going to dive into the economic model, which is the first model.
Slide 30.
Okay, slide 30. Thank you. Did we talk enough about the power of the way that you think? Do you understand how much that has to do with your plan and ability to execute your plan? Okay. So let's go into the economic model. So I'm going to read the definitions of all of this because I realize that there might be people who've never taken this course before and don't even know what I mean when I say GCI, okay? So if you know what it means, just bear with me. Okay, gross closed income, which we call GCI in these four walls, is an assumed 6%. Is your average commission here 6 or 5?
Yes.
Yes! I love that answer. Let's go with 6. Total commission with 3% for each side. So the gross closed income, to be really clear for someone who's brand new to this, is just the income that is generated from the sale, okay? Cost of sales, which also might be new to some of you, is the amount of money paid to a listing specialist and the commission split paid to a buyer specialist. Any referral fees are cost of sales, royalties are cost of sales, and your company dollar that you pay in your cap is cost of sales. So to be clear, if you have a listing agent or a buying agent, any referrals, and then your royalty and your cap. That's all that cost of sales is, okay? Some of you are going to get confused and think that's an operating expense. It's not, okay? And then operating expenses are all the costs of doing business. marketing, rent, salaries, equipment, supplies. So remember, for those of you that may have a team or an admin, your admin salary is an operating expense, not a cost of sales. Okay? And then net income is the amount of profit your salesperson, your sales business earns. So let's just drive this home. Remember, everything is based on a net a million model. To operate on this level of business, you'll need leverage. If you engage a listing specialist and a buyer specialist, here's how cost of sales could break down. On the buyer side, a 50-50 split with your buyer specialist for $1.25 million in GCI has a cost of sales of $625. Meaning, if you this is assuming that half of your business is the buy side and half of your business is the listing side. Why is it assuming that? Yeah, because that's the model. FYI. Okay. And so what it's saying is, if you generate $1.25 million on the buy side, then your cost of sales to the buyer's agent is half of that because they're on a 50-50 split with you. Following? On the sell side, with a 10% split for $1.25 million, your listing specialist has a cost of sales of $125,000 a year, which is 10% of $1.25 million. Okay? Okay, the economic numbers. So this is all based on, their example is assuming an average sales price of $238,333. I'm sure your average is higher here. Okay, that's because we live in the top 1% of the country. One of the most impactful elements of your economic model will be your average commission amount. The formula is simple. Average sales price times average commission is your average commission earned. So your average commission here is what? $20,000. Okay, so $1 million. 5%. So it would be higher than that.
25.
Okay. Okay. If your average sales price goes up, what?
25 in your caps, 20 when you're working on it.
Okay, got it. If your average sales price goes up and or your commission rate, you'll earn more per transaction and will have to do fewer units to reach the same $2.5 million GCI goal. What this is suggesting is that the person who's going to net $1 million has to make $2.5 million in GCI to net $1 million based on cost of sales and operating expenses, okay? And so what it's trying to help you understand is that when your goal is set on your profit, which we're going to get to, then it's easy to say, well, how many units do I need to close in order to net the profit that I want? Rather than just saying, I think I want to do 24 units or whatever it is, okay? So what this is saying is, if your average commission is $1,000, where is that in the country? I don't know about that. It's going to take them 2,500 units to get 2.5 million in GCI, right? If it's 2,500, it's going to take them 1,000 units. If it's 5,000, it's going to take 500 units. And if it's 10,000, it's going to take 250 units. This is just so that you understand the model and the math, okay? Here is an overview of the basic cash flow of the economic model. If your revenue is evenly divided between your listing and buyer business, meaning half of your business comes from the buy side, half of it from the listing side, you'll have about $1.25 million in gross commission income from each side of your business. The two sides are quite different, however, in the cost of sales attached to that revenue. While the buyer side may have as much as 50% cost of sales is the buyer's income, right? Buyer's agent's income. The seller side tends to be much more affordable. Quality listing specialists can be found for about 10% cost of sales or less on the listing side business. In this balanced business, your combined cost of sale between buyers and sellers will be $750,000 or 30% of your GCI. Next, you have expenses. These can be reasonably capped at 30% or $750,000. What's left is your goal, $1 million in net income. So what it's saying here, just to recap, this is just another illustration of how to arrive at the math, is if you generate 2.5 million of GCI, then 10% of your cost of sales is going to be $125,000. And 50% of your cost of sales from the buyer side of your business is going to be $625,000. And so your total cost of sales is $750,000, and your operating expenses are $750,000, and this would net $1 million. And this is just the model in the book. So what I want you to hear more is 30%, not necessarily these numbers, but the percentage that your cost of sales should arrive at in your business. Okay? So then when we understand that, we know that we're not going to have any GCI without what? Appointments. And you can go on 10 appointments and convert 0, or you can go on 10 appointments and convert an average conversion rate of hopefully 75%. Okay? So net income starts with activity and appointments. And by the way, did you know that you can use Kelly to log your appointments? Okay, that might be new to some of you. I like that flexibility because if I'm out at an appointment, I already have trouble with tracking. Am I the only one? And so to be able to say, Kelly, log an appointment wherever I'm at, and for it to automatically wind up in my command when you all start using command as your dashboard and tracking system is a whole lot easier than trying to remember it once I drive here, stop for Taco Bell, because I can afford it. Yeah. And then run into 5 people on the way to my office and go and forget to track that appointment. Tracking is key to planning. Do you get that? And you can do it in Kelly by simply saying, Kelly, log an appointment. And it'll wind up on your dashboard in command. So that's a pro tip, okay? So we're going to get to this space where we start to understand how many appointments that we need to go on. And then we're going to talk about conversion rates, which I just used 75% as the average. And they're using that as an average in the book as well. Who here knows their conversion rate with confidence? What I thought. Most of us don't. Here's the truth. If we were really clear on what our conversion rate is, some of us may not even need to go on that many more appointments to generate more business. If we recognize what we weren't converting and focus on the skill to fix it. Did you follow that? Okay. All right, so I'm going to walk you through this. Now, what model is this based on? 2.5 million of DCI, $1 million of net income. Not right or wrong, just the model they're using. Okay. So let's connect the dots. Net income is the goal. Do you see that their plan is built around that? Not activity, not listings, not buy side, not, right? It's around what they want to take home. Operating expenses of 30%, cost of sales of 30% equals the total GCI of $2.5 million. They're dividing that by their average commission. So you're going to walk through this. This is going to be one of kind of the first workshop exercises. And so you'll choose your average commission of 20, 25, whatever it is, to generate how many units they need to sell. Some of us enter into a business plan saying, I want to do 15 units next year. Okay, why? I don't know. Sounds good, right? Can we please start with what you need to fund your life, which should be attached to what? Life. Thank you. Okay. And then what we're going to do is say, all right, so if I had a balanced business, then half of my business should come from the listing side and half of my business should come from the buy side. Now the buy side follows what? Like a dog on a leash? The sell side. And so then we build our plan around how many appointments we need to go on to get the listings that we need, which will naturally bring in the buyers that we need, which will give us the units that we need, which will give us the income we need. You following me? Did I totally just confuse anybody? Okay. All right. So the point there is that your net income should dictate the activities, not just what you think your activities should be or your units should be. So let's start to dive into your economic plan. Now, for those that are following me, what slide are we on? 41. Mine is a little bit different than yours. Okay, slide 41. Your turn. So what are you building this around? Where do you start?
Profit.
Yes, profit, which is net income. So I'm going to give you 5 to 10 minutes, and some of you are way lost. Others of you absolutely get it, and it's all okay because we're in a padded room. So if you have trouble with this, let me know, because I'd like you to start to build out your plan based on the net income that you want to take home in 2020. Everybody on this page? Okay, this is a working clinic. Go.